Well, we're looking forward to getting back to work this week and picking the pieces back up after a tough loss. And we've got a really good opponent coming in. So SMU is playing about as good as anybody in the country. They've got a lot of skill on offense. They've settled on their quarterback. He's really good. He can run and throw. They got speed at the skill positions. They've scored a lot of points here lately. Um, Defense plays aggressive, lead the nation in turnovers. So we'll have our hands full. We're going to have to play really good football. We have to be very well prepared and come out and execute better. But that's why you play the game, and it'll be a good test for us. And we're looking forward to hopefully having a good week of practice and putting it all together and having a good plan and going out there and trying to execute.
Jeff, like you mentioned, obviously very offensively minded. Rhett was quarterbacks coach, I think, at Miami for a little bit. When you've had two coaches who are more, former DCs, what's that dynamic like in terms of going against another offensively minded coach, and have you ran into him, I guess, in the past?
Well, I think he's done a really good job selling on a quarterback who is multi-talented. He can run and throw. He can throw the ball accurately. He's athletic. They've got speed at the skill positions, and you can see that once he's settled on this quarterback, this offense is kind of taken off, and they put up a lot of points. Um, they get it to their playmakers. They play with good tempo. The defense plays aggressive, and they just kind of been playing well the last couple of weeks, and kind of I think just put it all together. So I just think they're going to play aggressive. That's how their style. We're going to have to play aggressive and execute well, but it'll be a really tough test for us. I don't think I have that I can remember.
Jeff, game against Georgia Tech, you guys had a lot of untimely penalties. This past game against Notre Dame, a bunch of mistakes came up. Are you concerned a little bit with against the two power conference team? You guys have looked a little bit sloppy at times.
Well, we're always concerned that we need to get better. Now, when you face good football teams, you're not going to win every play. There's definitely some things we could have done better. I thought we handled the crowd noise pretty well the last game until the end of the game. It got loud and it screwed some things up for us. Um, you know, we've had some penalties, but we've been pretty good at keeping the penalties down. So we got to try to continue to have as few as we possibly can. But there's all kinds of things to clean up. But you're going to have that now that we're facing really good football teams every week. We just have to find a way to be sharper, win the turnover battle, eliminate big plays, execute in critical, timely situations. Have a good plan for that as well, and be better. So I just think it's a lot of small things that add up when you're facing good teams that you can't have.
Kind of rolling off that, I mean, you said it yourself, more times than not in that Notre Dame game, it felt like you guys may have beaten yourselves. When you enter practice this week as a coach, is it kind of at least a glass half full situation, knowing that this was something that was on us, so it's up to us to be able to fix it?
Well, I think you analyze every game and you try to improve on your weaknesses and things that you've made mistakes on. We got some things going early, and then we had some critical turnovers that gave them the ball around the 50, then gave them the ball inside the 10-yard line. Next thing you know, it's 21-7. So now we've got to change a little bit what we do and have a little more sense of urgency, and we're still right in it. And didn't convert some key short yardage situations. So I need to do a better job there to make sure that we have the best plan and we're able to execute it. When you get in a situation where you have to pass a little bit more, you've got to be able to protect a little bit better, and that affected us there for a while until we kind of got that cleaned up. But those things happen. I think we've got competitive players. I think they want to compete and play, and we know that. Last year we found a way to win a lot of close games. We're going to find a way to win close games this year, and that means doing a lot of the small things correctly. Well, I think we've been aggressive on fourth down the first 3 games and converted quite a few of them. This game, obviously, it didn't happen. Um, I didn't love my option call on the first 4th and 1. I thought we got the look exactly that we had. It just, I probably would take that one back, even though we did get the look exactly what we wanted. We just weren't able to get the edge. Um, and we were a little aggressive around the 50-yard line. We did have someone open over the middle, but we couldn't protect long enough, so unfortunately that one didn't work. And then at the end of the game, trying to get the first down, changing the personnel, and calling the play. The communication took longer. Tyler couldn't hear, and some things made it look out of whack there. But we wanted to get the first down for sure. We still had, a little bit over a minute left to move the ball. So some things we could have done better there. So, we're making sure we're analyzing that. But we do want to err on being aggressive. But you got to convert those, and there are things that we could have done better, especially me. And so we'll try to work hard to fix that.
Rolling off of that, excuse me, it seemed like, as you mentioned, at the last fourth down, there were some communication issues or whatever. Are there times where it seems like maybe the tempo out of the huddle or from the sideline maybe a little bit slower than you anticipated, or you trying to work down the game clock in situations like that?
No, we weren't trying to work down. So we were in a no-huddle situation. We were moving the ball somewhat, mixing in some run with the pass. It got to a 3rd down. I thought we got the first down. They said we didn't, so it's a matter of 4th and less than 1. If you go fast and the personnel you have, which is not conducive to running the ball, and they're bringing everybody, it's, I don't know if you're going to get the first down. You're going to have to, beat the numbers. So we decided to change the personnel. It took a long time to call the play. Tyler couldn't hear me because it was loud, and then the communication at the line of scrimmage took too long. So, yes, I'd like to have that back and like to go a little faster, but we decided to try to get the first down, and because of being on the road and the noise, it was a little discombobulated and took longer than we would like for sure.
A little off topic here, but Teddy Bridgewater was inducted into the Hall of Fame last weekend, and then he'll go into the have his jersey honored in a couple weeks. What would you say was his biggest impact, or how would you describe his legacy at Louisville?
Well, we greatly admire Teddy and his accomplishments here and in the NFL. I think he's been a great ambassador to this program. He came here and took this program to great heights by not only his ability on the field, but great leadership skills, great person off the field. Really set the stage for what being a University of Louisville quarterback is all about. And he took it to the NFL and just was a great player there before he had an injury that was tough to come back from, but he did. So you got to give him credit for that as well. And I just think his demeanor and his love for this university was definitely displayed. And I know as coaches and players, and we appreciate all of it. Now he's into coaching. He's doing a great job, and we're happy as heck for him.
ESPN had a story a couple of weeks ago about SMU football to the effect that the people who got them in trouble with the death penalty are now free, basically, to throw their money at the program. Do you have any concerns about competing with them long term, given the oil billionaires that they can mobilize?
Well, you have more knowledge than me on that. Without question, I'm sure they have access to whatever they need, and college athletics now, you can't predict what's going to happen. So your question is thorough, and I'm not for sure I have all the answers to that one. I can speak from the football side of it that, there's a ton of talent down in that area. They've gotten a lot of transfers from good programs, and they're playing good football. So for us, we can't worry about that as much. We just got to try to win the game. But I do know that they're going to be a great addition to the conference. They're a good football team, and they have access to what they need to have success.
Jeff, in the preseason and early on, we talked about the depth at corner. You've had some injuries, and I think Corey had to play almost every snap, if not every snap, the other day. Can you maybe give us an update on Quincy and Nicholson and kind of how now those other guys had to step up this weekend?
Well, unfortunately, Quincy wasn't able to play, so we were hopeful to get him back this week. We'll see. I can't tell right now. I think Taz was able to play with an injury. I give him a lot of credit, and he hung in there and played a long time. Corey Thornton had a hand surgery 2 weeks ago, plays with a cast. He hung in there and played the entire game. So that position is a little thinner and a little banged up, but they played hard. And for the most part, I thought we did a really good job at corner. There were one or two times that we could have maybe done a little bit better, but they did a pretty good job. We busted a couple man coverage deals. It wasn't on our corner. It was on some other people that we need to clean up that hurt us. But I really think that if we can get them healthier this week, we'll need every one of them because these guys have speed at the skill position. Well, I give Colin a lot of credit. He's wanted to come back. He's practiced before he was cleared, even though we had a special colored jersey on him, and he was basically just cleared to go game day. So he hadn't been hit or touched on it, and he played hard. And I just think that's what we've gotten from him since he's been here. He's a tough young man. He's a competitor. He wants to go out there and do great things. We got to make sure we identify the things he's really good at and make sure we do that with him because there are certain things he's better at than others. But he is a strong runner, and he's a competitor, and we'll need him out there.
You mentioned last year you guys had a lot of success winning the close games, the one-score differentials. In your years of coaching, have you seen, is there a common denominator, one or two, that make the difference between winning those kinds of games and losing them?
Well, one, I think, is mindset. You got to have tough young men that are going to compete to the end and play hard on every snap. And we try to build that and enforce that and really ingrain that into our guys. Just keep playing as hard as you can and have a good attitude and play to the end, and good things will happen. I do think, we will try to be aggressive, and if we make mistakes, it might be by being overly aggressive, and hopefully that wins more than it loses, but it doesn't always happen. So I do think our guys know we're going to not be scared to adjust and adapt throughout the course of the game if we got to do things to win. We had our chance in this game, even with everything that happened, to get the ball back with a chance to go down and at least tie the score with a touchdown. And unfortunately, the short yardage situation, we weren't able to convert. But, I like our makeup. I know that from here on, we've got really good teams. The teams on our schedule have good records. They've played well. Some that maybe weren't, according to experts, supposed to have that type of success, but they have. And so we'll have our hands full every week, but it's starting this week against, right now, one of the hottest teams in our conference as far as scoring points and playing aggressive defense, getting turnovers, and they've had two dominant wins the last 2 weeks against TCU and Florida State that are very impressive when you watch it on video.
Just mentioned it right there. Those two past wins that they had, they combined for 106 points in those. Is that just because it's a rivalry game like the Iron Skillet and their first really big ACC game, or is there something more with this offense?
Well, right now they're hot and they've got momentum. They're trusting each other. They're executing at a high level. Like I said, the quarterback, settling on him has really the offense has taken off. And this is a young man who's a 6-foot quarterback, but he can throw it. He's got a great arm. He can run. He throws well on the move. He can escape the rush. You have to affect him, or he's going to get it to those playmakers. And he's got plenty of speed at the playmaking positions. And I just think the last 2 weeks they have played as good as anybody in our conference by scoring points and being aggressive on defense, especially in their third down package. And right now they're gelling and playing at a high level.
Jeff, on their defense and the turnovers, can you talk about what they do well defensively, what you're going to have to do against them? And they do create a lot of them. Is it just the type of defense or the guys and how they're playing it?
Well, I think they're very sound on first and second down. They don't give up a lot of big plays throughout that. And on third down, they get very exotic, and they come after the quarterback. And they affect the quarterback, so they've been able to get turnovers in those situations. And, they do some things that other teams aren't as aggressive doing. So I give them credit. They're well coached. Right now, they're believing in what they're doing. When your offense is having success, it gives you the flexibility to play more aggressive, which they have done, and it's definitely shown on video.
One last question, I guess, on the Notre Dame game. There seemed like there were some frustrations multiple times on the sideline with the officiating. I know you probably don't like to talk about the officiating much, but there were some questionable calls. Did you see anything maybe on the double pass interference or spots on the ball when you're watching the video that kind of made you think they didn't see it properly?
Well, I always, don't always agree with what the officials are saying. I've never really seen a double interference, pass interference call like that. So that one, I don't understand that one still to this point. And on the spots, you know what? I mean, it's, they spot it where they see it. The one first fourth down, the fact that the ball went out of bounds over here, but yet they brought the ball out here to measure it. I didn't understand why they don't measure it right where it went out of bounds. And then they brought it out, and they moved it back. I mean, it was a little discombobulated in my opinion. But in the end, you know what? We'll get some calls, some we don't get. You got to live with it, overcome it. We got to be better, and we've just got to convert those better. Okay, thanks.